Hello everyone, in this episode of my CSS tutorial I'm gonna be going over the display property of CSS. So yeah, let's get right into it. So, the display property is the most important CSS property for controlling layout. So the display is used for layout control. Alright, the display property is used to specify how an element is shown on a web page. Every HTML element has a default display value depending on the element itself. For example, a paragraph is something called a block level element. So yeah, that means that a block level element always starts on a new line and takes up the full width of the viewport that is available. It stretches from the left to the right as far as it can. I'm gonna give this a class of example. And then I'm gonna give it a background color of light blue. So yeah, this is a block level element. It's gonna go from the left to the right. However, we can change this with the display property. I'm gonna create another paragraph. This paragraph is a block level element as well. I'm gonna create a div. Divs are block level. Span elements are inline block. Okay, so I'm gonna change the display of this first paragraph to be inline block. Okay, now you can see that it's no longer taking up the entire width of this viewport. It's only taking as much space as it needs to. Then I'm gonna add a class to this paragraph. And I'm gonna make this one a display inline block as well. Alright, and now when we stretch the viewport enough, we have two paragraphs that are next to each other. So yeah, that's what the display property can do. H1 headers or headings like this are also block level elements. Forms, headers, footers, sections. There's many elements that are block level elements. Then there's inline elements like span, the anchor tag, and for example the img, the image element. So I'm gonna give the span and the div a background color. So I'm gonna take div 1 and background color light green. So div is a block level element. Alright. Span 1, background color pink. You can see that the span element by default is an inline block element. So yeah, let's add some margin to the top. Wait a moment. Margin 20 pixels. Well, that seems to work on the top and bottom. Let me make this into a block level element. Margin top. Okay, it works like that. And now it's an inline block. but it's... Oh, this is interesting. I didn't know about this. So we have a span element right over here. This one. I'm saying margin top 20 pixels. We cannot apply that unless we say display inline block. Then it's going to work. So we have to write this line in, even though this is the default value for the span element. Interesting. Okay. Then we can also make the div element a inline block element. So now the div and the span are next to one another. Alright, I'm gonna give you another example. I'm gonna use some anchor tags right here at the bottom. I'm gonna set the href to be hashtag, and also I'm gonna create an unordered list. That's gonna be the item number 1. Let's say link 1. I'm gonna copy this. Link 2 and link 3. Okay. Then I'm gonna take all the list elements and make the display inline. Now the list items, they don't have any list style type anymore, so the list style type is set to none, even though we are not writing it in. Then also we do have a row layout instead of a column layout. We are showing these in a row. So yeah, interesting. And when we are using display inline, we can't declare a list style anymore. For example, lower Roman characters, nope. But if I remove this, it's gonna work. Alright. Anyways, I'm gonna keep it like this. And this can't be used. Alright. So there we go. Let's go to the next example. I'm gonna create a bunch of span elements. So span. And I'm gonna say that with the display another span set to block level, and then a third span. All these span elements will be shown on different lines. Alright, I'm gonna take all the span elements and I'm gonna set the display to be a block level element. With the display set to block level, all the span elements will be shown on different lines. So yeah, if this was a div element, we wouldn't have to do that, but yeah. Alright, I'm gonna show you another one. By default, links are shown in a column layout. I mean a row layout. So yeah, if we want to change this, we can take all the anchor tags and say display block. Now they will be set to be in a column. Another way we can do this is use display flex, align items center, justify content center, and flex direction will be column. So yeah, the display flex, also known as flexbox, is one of the most important display properties. So the align items, it will basically set these items to the center of the page on the cross axis. Then the justify content is used. We can use space around, except in this example it will not do anything because these links are in a column layout. I'm gonna set this to be a row. Oh, it's not actually even working. Display, I'm gonna remove that, but we can't really use these. I'm gonna give you another example. Let's say we have div 1, div 2, and div number 3. I'm gonna take all the div elements, I'm gonna give them a background color of light blue and padding or margin top 10 pixels. So there we go, we got 3 div elements. If I use the flex box and justify content center, they will be centered. I can align the items center. That's not gonna do anything in this situation, but I can give these div elements a container. So div container. I'm gonna place these inside of here. There we go. And then I'm gonna take these with me. Otherwise, I'm just gonna leave those. I'm gonna take the container. Let's say the height is gonna be 100 pixels and the width is gonna be 100%. I wanna also show the borders. Alright, there we go. So we got 3 divs inside of a div. We can make this inline block. Then it's gonna look like this. Then we can use display flex. It's gonna look like that. Align items, center. So it will align the items on the top and bottom axis to the center of the container. Then justify content. We can say center. It looks like that. Space around looks like that. Space between looks like that. And space around looks like that. I mean space evenly. Alright, I guess this is the best looking one. So yeah, that's the display flex property. Okay, then I'm gonna give you another example. I'm actually gonna delete this, or actually no. Okay, so let's go to the next example. I removed my styles and the div elements. And now I set up a horizontal rule right over here. It makes or creates a line that stretches from the left to the right of the page. So that's the horizontal rule. Okay, I'm gonna create an H1 heading that says this is a visible heading. Maybe I'm gonna be using H2. There we go. Then I'm gonna be making another H2 with the class of example. This is a hidden H2. Alright. And then I'm gonna show you a difference between one property. So display, if we set this to be hidden, I'm gonna say paragraph with display none, the H1 does not take any space. So I can set the display to be none. It looks like that. It like completely disappears from the page. However, if I make it to be hidden, It's actually not hiding that. Does the hidden property only exist in JavaScript? Maybe it does. I don't know. Anyways, but what you gotta keep in mind is that when you use the none property, the element is gonna disappear completely. So yeah. And by the way, the word is not, the property value pair is not display hidden. The visibility should be set to hidden. So now you can see the difference. The element is still over here because when compared with display none, this paragraph moves up. But with visibility hidden, the paragraph still exists in here, but it's hidden. So yeah, this is a way to create these invisible boxes, like we have over here right now. Alright. So with the visibility property set to hidden, the h1 element still takes space. So yeah. Anyways, that's gonna be it for this episode. This is going to be the first episode of the CSS display property. I still have a lot of examples to show you, or a few examples, and they are gonna be a little bit more complex. So I'm gonna be creating a second episode on this same topic. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this one and were able to learn something new. And I hope that I'm gonna see you in the next episode. So yeah, happy learning everyone, and bye bye. Have a wonderful day.